What's good? It's Chigozi. It's Wednesday, September 25th, 2019. We're going to talk about the Securities and Exchange Commission and something that they like to do all the time to scam people, and they're completely fine with it. But before we look at that, we're going to look at the numerology that they use. So how this happened was I went to sec.gov. It's funny, I was trying to use their site for an appropriate reason. I wasn't decoding anything. I was going to go to the filings because I saw this stock, PSTV, it's running up again. And you can see here in the middle of the day, it dropped from $10 to $5 because of a secondary offering that they had. And this is all stuff legal, allowed by the SEC. They love it. They profit off of it. It's called manipulation. This is penny stock manipulation. And again, if you know what you're doing, you can profit off of it, so don't look at it from a negative light. But you see how this company is very obviously participating in all sorts of pump and dump madness. And I saw it as this. So here's the stock comes out of nowhere. See how there's no trading volume at all? No one's trading the stock at all for a while, for at least a few months. And then it hits lows of $3.80. They come out with some news, and the news is always some sort of fake news, or it's just some fluff news, or it's some sympathy off some propaganda. This is a therapeutics company. It's the biotech sector. They all like to do this. So they had this pump, and sold off. It caught support at the former resistance, and that hit a second run up. And this whole time, there was no secondary offering. And usually these companies, what they do is they need like a secondary offering to raise money for their shareholders, their investors, and themselves. But it's more so for the people that are invested in them, the private people. And they'll put out fake news and then do a secondary offering after collecting all the money. And that's what they did here. So I was like, okay, this is being pumped out of nowhere again. And it was recently pumped up like not even pretty much a month ago. And I was like, okay, these people are probably going to do a secondary offering. Let me go check if they have any filings. So I went to sec.gov because all these registered stocks have to file things with the federal government, which again, you can use to your advantage and study it and know ahead of time what's going to happen. But then I went there and got so distracted because of this right here, focusing on Main Street. The SEC's focus on Main Street investors reflects the fact that American households own $29 trillion worth of equities, more than 58% of the U.S. equity market, either directly or indirectly through mutual funds, retirement accounts, and other investments. And I just had to document it. 58%, 29 trillion. Who runs the SEC? Freemasonry. Freemasonry equals 58. They are Masonic. Masonic equals 29, both in the same cipher. Take an alphabetical order. M's the 13th letter. 1 plus 3 is 4. A remains 1. S is the 19th letter. 1 plus 9 is 10. 1 plus 0 is 1. So you do that all, you get 29. And again, Freemasonry 58. And they use that right here. 29 trillion, more than 58% of the U.S. equity market. And I'm so glad I did that because if you go to sec.gov, it's something else now. It's this Asian lady. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some 44 coded in this, Asian 44, but this is coded as well. We can do this later. But I'm glad I caught that when I could. Main Street. Look how focus and main equal the same thing in 3 of the 4 base ciphers. Focusing on Main Street. Focus equals 197126. Order out of chaos is the Freemasons' motto, Chaos 19. They even create chaos in the markets. And I'm not saying that, what happened right there was directly the doings of the Freemasons. I mean, it very well could be. But what I'm saying is that this is all stuff that they're all privy to. This stuff is allowed. It's completely legal. And I'm not saying it should be illegal or anything. I'm just, anyone who's not aware of stuff like this is more manipulation in the stock market. Just imagine you're bag holding this, and this was holding VWAP too. This was consolidating along the VWAP. So people are thinking, like, a lot of people got caught in this because they're thinking that it's gonna, because, and these, some of these low float runners, because this thing has like 500,000 shares total to trade. It's a low float stock, heavily manipulated. So these things sometimes can sell off, and then in the afternoon, since it's been holding VWAP all day, bounce back up and even hit higher highs. I've seen it happen before. Stocks like SOLY, another biotech stock, has done that. So a lot of people were thinking that, and then a reason I wasn't holding this, because that's not my trading style really. And again, I knew these people were probably gonna have a secondary offering. You don't want to hold these things in the middle of the day because of that. I mean, do at your own risk, but just imagine holding this even at 10, because you probably even had to stop, below $10, a nice psychological mental support. $10, whole number, it's a double digit number. A lot of people had stops here, and look, now your account's like half. And of course, they see it's $5, they all just get out, and it hits support of what it used to be. And this happens all the time. I've seen stocks be up like $1 or $2, had a secondary offering, sold off all the way, and then push all the way back up to where it used to be. But that's more rare. But again, Mason has these numbers. That's really a whole ritual. Masonic 29, Freemason 58, focusing on Main Street equals 113, like Scottish. Main Street equals 43, like Masonic. SEC.gov. And just to show you that they're responsible for this type of activity, it's part of the U.S. Financial Industry Regulatory Authority. Authority equals 137, by the way, the 33rd prime. And you go to the FINRA, who runs them, the Securities and Exchange Commission. So, and again, secondary offerings can be like it can be used for a good thing. They have a chunk of shares that they have clumped together, and they offer them in a warrant to they tell you here to like their private holders. They price 3 million units composed of one common share on a Series U warrant at $5 per unit. The warrant allows the purchaser to buy one share of common stock at $5, and this came out in the middle of the afternoon. And then so the amount of shares are still the same, it looks like, on the market, which is good because that means it's still low float. Bag holders definitely have a chance of getting back out because it could easily be pumped up again with some more news. And that's all it's going to take. But it depends, because there are a lot of bag holders. So that's really what I wanted to show you, that the SEC is putting stuff out by the numbers, and then coupling that with stuff like this, you know what they're all about. So stop saying that, someone talk about the SEC, or someone talk to the SEC. SEC needs to investigate this. SEC needs to stop this. No, they love this. They love pump and dumps. They love manipulating. And I've shown you how in stuff like TV or Tesla, GE, these are big companies. I show you how they also do all sorts of manipulation all day long. This AI-driven system. So we are the investor's advocate. We can see what that sums to real quick. $144, time 144. When you read up 44, you get 144. Didn't I say that it's going to connect to the number 44 because of the Asian lady? I just casually said that. And this equals 144 with an Asian woman right there. I cannot believe what these people are doing. Unbelievable. It just blows my mind. Asian equals 44 using the alphabetical order. When you write out 44, you get 144. I really did not think this was going to happen. It was such a loose thing I said. But look at this shit. 144. We are the investor's advocate. Asian woman. Asian 44. They always do this. 108, like Freemasonic. And look at this. We are the investors' advocates, but they are completely fine with stuff like this happening. It's a bunch of propaganda. Another company that was recently been pumped just got sued for putting out false misleading statements, but I don't even know how true that is. Sometimes I think they just, again, just ritualistically say these things to get things to happen. They're coming up with news saying, oh, we actually were lying, saying that it was this thing called Acthar gel. This is another pharmaceutical company, and it just shows how sick these people are. I can show you the news. Where is it? It was like it's here somewhere, but it's about how they lied about their gel for ALS, saying that it had positive results, but they didn't say that it actually had negative results because it was very dangerous. Which means, first off, they're testing it out on people. That's how you know it's dangerous. Second off, I mean, they're just literally lying, saying, yeah, our drugs are good, buy our stuff. And then, like, no, actually, we lied. Which, again, that gives you good short and long opportunities. You can't look at it saying, oh, fuck these people, I don't want to touch them. Unless that's what you want to do. But I'm just showing you what these people are up to. Speaking with Main Street investors in the Windy City. This was in Columbus. Or not, excuse me, Chicago, not Columbus. The Windy City, Chicago. Chicago with the Bears and the Bulls. Chicago Bears, Chicago Bulls. Bear market, bull market. Chicago, New York. I mean, it's always Chicago or New York with these type of rituals. The SEC. These are the people who practice numerology, gematria, all by a code. I like to make my videos 15 minutes, kinda, so I know we have like a few more minutes of some coding we could find, but maybe not. About. All by the numbers. If they had a history section, that's what we want. Just like how on whitehouse.gov their history, you see it's by the numbers. Maintain fair, orderly, and efficient markets. Fair, orderly, and efficient markets. Secondary offerings in the middle of the day. Yeah, great. Cool. I mean, you just see how they're lying. I showed you get graphical evidence of stuff that they love to happen, that they're profiting off of. Them, the market makers, you think they're not making money off this type of stuff? You think the SEC is not going short on these pump and dumps when they're super overbought? You know they are. They have the money to move the markets. So I guess that's it. Zach's radio shows right now. I think he's streaming it on his. I tried looking for his new channel. I couldn't even find his. So I had his new channel, and then I went to go search on YouTube. Either they're hiding it, you can't even search it, or they took it down again, which is very possible. Because that's kind of how they do it. They'll take his channel down and they'll keep deleting like the subsequent ones. Alright, see, I'm just dragging this video on now. But there you have it, the SEC. Look at this pentagram. We enforce federal securities laws because this is the federal government. They do everything by the numbers. I like how Tisha Bob equals 134. 4301s, their employees, of reflection. Formed June 6, 1934. They with 29 numerology, Masonic 29, 29 trillion is what they said. So there you have it. These are the Freemasons. this is how they roll. Peace out.